smoke are well known. But what about secondhand aerosol, which is created when using e-cigarettes? Science already shows a secondhand aerosol can contain nicotine, heavy metals, and cancer-causing agents. Eliminating exposure to secondhand aerosol is an important step to keeping everyone safe. Breathe easier knowing the facts.
For help quitting, call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. Davis Plumbing has been in business for over 15 years and is currently searching for journeyman plumbers to join their team. Experience is preferred, but not required for all applicants. When you join the team at Davis Plumbing, you'll receive full benefits package with paid time off. Join a small local business doing big things in Lincoln and surrounding areas. Apply today by calling 402-525-6922 or find them on social media. Davis Plumbing, locally owned and operated for over 15 years.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law Group and find out how we can help get you the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group. Trial attorneys you can trust.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity, not to make friends, but just to get something to eat. Or a retiree who fell ill and had to choose
between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse. Beep, beep, beep.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
You never think cancer will happen to you. I smoked for over 40 years. My doctor recommended that I get annual lung cancer screening. They were able to catch my cancer at stage 1. It's never too late to quit. Even if you're still smoking, you need to ask your doctor about annual lung cancer screening. Just 30 minutes a year could save your life.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Live from the 93.7 The Ticket Studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Inside the Huddle with Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Fires a pass, and it's intercepted by the Huskers at the 25, Jay Foreman. And Foreman takes it down to the 19-yard line of Oklahoma. Another big play by the Blackshirts.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging.
What up? Happy Sunday. Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging, 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. All your imaging needs for the ailments that I have, which is obviously due to obviously this game I used to play called football. But then also they do some unique things with breast cancer early screening, early warning. Obviously had their walk last week. Tremendous amount of attendance, I was told, because I was at Advanced Medical Imaging this week, getting a tune up. I call it Harrison. I get these sometimes I get periodic cortisone shots or whatever, and I got some bad stuff going on, and I call it oil change. Take the fluid out, they get some inflammation and stuff like that. So always appreciate what they do, and their support, and appreciate you guys being supportive. Obviously, after last week and then obviously this week, the I guess the vibe is a little bit different, but then also, obviously it's after a loss, but I think you can gain more, you get more out of a game like Ohio State, not even based on the scoreboard, but just based on the action. And that was probably the most important thing is like, as I think sometimes, and, by no means, this is just me thinking, but I think sometimes people, have a short history and it's easy to compare. Obviously everybody knows that, Colorado's bowl eligible, so forth and so on. So there's why not us? And every situation is not created equal, and I think that goes into the narrative of you have some people that are, I guess in the media, Nebraska loses, and then I saw somebody I just look and pretty much if I'm on the porcelain throne or not, and, and that's because there's a lot of crap out there, and they'll be like, oh, well, Nebraska can never finish, or this is this. It's like, I mean, I understand it, right? Because everybody look, I'm an alumni. I mean, alumnus, or I don't even know what I'm called, former player, I guess. That's easy enough. So I understand. Look, we were here during some great times. I see, they had good times or good teams after that, and then obviously it's been up and down ever since. And it's a new age of college football. But then, you want to go back and relive 20 years ago in present day time, and it's almost like you want the present team and the players pay for past sins. You know what I mean? And evaluate them on. They don't even know who the hell those guys are back. I guarantee you, if you ask these players who Bill Callahan is, I guarantee you the percentage of knowing who he is, unless they're from Nebraska,
I'm gonna say like 2%, 5%.
2%.
Yeah.
But you're still talking about that. Now there is some like overflow or whatever you want to call it, based on, has the expectations changed? Is there outside influences or inside influences that are, trickling down to the football team? Sure. That's everywhere. But, I thought it was just very interesting just to see people, because like I always say this, is you got a lot of people that go to the games or watch the games and they sit on the edge of their seat, not just because they want to see something good. It's just that they want to validate whatever their negative thoughts or wishes. I always say going to the movie and already having your Rotten Tomatoes review already written. Now, there's things that need to be evaluated and cleaned up. Sure. But I'm telling you, as soon as something bad happens, it's like we're the only team in the nation that's done it. And this is not apologizing for any of the, you shouldn't fumble the first kickoff, right? You shouldn't step out of bounds. These I'm saying it, and I'm saying both sides, but when you see some prominent, media members, and they just love it. It's the same guys, but
it's engagement. I mean, yeah, get some good clicks and numbers if you go scorched earth, after
quick.
A tough loss. And part of it, I think, with the fan base, it's like the straw that breaks the camel's back. Like, if this is like a one-off, but it happens enough, and the weight of it, and then even though it's the number 4 team in the country, it's like another straw on the camel's back, and that's the one where people, you're just kind of breaking points for frustration. They'll come around.
I understand
Saturday
it.
again.
I understand it, and I mean, it's realistic. It's not rational, but it's realistic. I mean that's no, I can understand what they're feeling and saying is there is some truth to that. It doesn't mean it's rational or goes into what's going on. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that it's really real time, realistic, and rational, and it's understandable. I think if you would have. I think at this point in the season, if you would have asked all these fans and media members, if you just said, take the scores out of it, at the 8-game mark, I imagine most people would have liked the realistic ones and have rational understanding of the game of football, the roster, and what it takes to win in college football, let alone the Big Ten. I would probably say that most of them would say we're probably a game behind where they think Nebraska should be, which is probably 6-2.
Yeah,
right?
Indiana, Illinois, take your pick. Most people, I think,
Probably.
before the season would circle those as wins.
Right. Everything's humming, we'd be 7-1, right? But realistically, 6-2. So one game behind. So the only thing you can do if you have 4 games left, you got to make one up there. Obviously, the players control that and coaches as well. I think yesterday was, I think the biggest thing that you can get out of it, it's validation to everything that the players were saying. And I think that's maybe why Coach Rule was probably like more just cool, calm. Because I think obviously he knows the team better than anybody. He knows these guys. I mean, he's around them all the dang time. And so, it's really good that to where he says that, I mean, he didn't say it, but I'm just going off his body language, like when he was doing the
post game.
Yeah, or his press conference. He's like, hey, I challenged him. We watched it. We need to get, we need to address it, and we're not going to let it kill us, and we're going to go out there and put on a better performance. We've heard that before, and we saw even worse performance, right? But that lets you know, at least, one thing, he has a pulse of the team. He has a great understanding of the team. And actually, to be honest with you, there's some pretty good leadership there, because for these kids who haven't experienced a lot of winning, don't know what winning is, and they're trying to learn and being taught on the run, it could be harder for them to answer the bell after an embarrassing loss like that. And only experience I have in college is, we went down to Arizona State and lost 19-0. Thought the world was ending, but we, had obviously a more solid foundation to come back from that. And so the game yesterday was very interesting in the sense of everybody, even in the pregame, well, what if we lose by 50? What if we do this? What does it mean if we lose by 50? Like, let them go play the game first, right? I'm willing to bet that the defense isn't as 49 points worse than Indiana, right? Now, I was more disappointed and upset that I know that they could play better football, even on an off day. Just felt like, okay, well, where was your mind at? Well, their mind was right. I mean, you start the game off, fumble kickoff, right? Kind of muff I think Dante slipped, right?
Yeah.
And then he kind of fumbled, muffed the ball. So you're like, because I guarantee you, if you look at the Twitter analytics or whatever, here we go again.
Yeah.
The hands go up, palms up or whatever. Punt it, little slice-a-roni San Francisco treat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And everybody was upset that Brian Buschini was on the pre. I mean, people get mad about everything. Brian Buschini, you're mad because the punter is on like the pregame like picture. You know how they put out like
oh yeah, that was insane to me.
This is what you're
I couldn't believe people were upset about that.
Right. Like, oh, here we go. Well, he's our best player. I think they do it just for seniors, right?
I mean, whoever they do it, I mean, it was a good looking graphic.
I think they do the graphics for all their seniors throughout the season.
That adds up. I mean, I haven't seen anybody that's not been a senior, but either way, a dumb thing to be upset about.
But this is what you're doing. This is what we're wasting our time on. And so, well, then, he doesn't have a good punt the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the defense gets to stop, get back in it. And then you felt like you were in pretty good good dogfight there. And then obviously Ohio State scored late in the first quarter. The one thing that's interesting though, and I said this on the post game, it's probably why I'm not head coach at Nebraska. I would contemplate whether I'd bring my team out on that field, considering the calls or the non-calls and the way that the game is being called. And I'm fine for it. Listen, we have a great fan base here and a great stadium and all that, and I love a home field advantage. But when you see some things out there, and it's done on purpose, and because the reason, here's why I say I would now, it'd be extreme. It's a life lesson. We got to go out there and try to beat 2 opponents, Ohio State and the rest or whoever.
Mm-hmm.
But it would definitely cross my mind, because obviously I know Coach Rule said that somebody's got to stand up for Nebraska. Well, sometimes this is our senior. Some of these guys have never played football again, but I'm gonna have to have a relationship with them for the rest of their life. My job as a coach sometimes is to protect them from outside forces that they can't protect themselves from. And then also, when injuries happen, my job is to protect them from themselves. So my job is to be kind of like their on-the-spot dad. I would contemplate whether I bring my team out there and tell somebody from the Big Ten, I know they have a head official there, you have got to explain to me how this crew on national TV, so I'm assuming this is your best crew. I don't care where they're from. I don't care if they're from the SEC, Big 12, ACC, whatever, all these dang, the Sun Valley Condo. I don't give a damn where they're from, right? Because, okay, so we punt the ball, so Jamari Butler has a sack, and then he's in there, he's going to get another sack, and the left tackle literally tackles him.
Yeah, around them.
Well, here's what I know from, I've ref before. I played. They had the referee is right there watching the quarterback. It's at the point of attack.
Yeah.
So why are you letting? You get what I'm saying? So even
Are you saying it intentional or just
it is
bad
intentional? It has to be intentional.
That's what I
it
hope
has
so.
to be like
a serious record
it has to be like, oh well, they lost by 49 points last week. They're the same on Nebraska. We're not going to give them the benefit of the doubt, or we're not even going to. That's a layup call.
Looks like it.
Right. It is. It's a layup call. Or, the one I think when Nair, excuse me, a little under the weather, but, bobbled it and it wasn't, they went to review and it wasn't okay. Legit. You reviewed it. Wasn't a catch. You didn't see the face mask on the pass interference. He yanked the jersey well down the field and you yanked the other part. So all his pads are showing. So if that lets me know the ref or the side judge, whoever, you are actually watching the play at the point of attack, but you're watching it through one lens. You get what I'm saying? So so then I'm contemplating until you want to at least get it to where it's not such a blatant attempt to go one way. I don't need to bring my kids out there because here's what's going to happen. Just say, for instance, God forbid, right? Knock on wood. Just say, for instance, you have a play like that on a holding and one of my best players gets hurt because you chose not to call a egregious holding call at the beginning of the game. You chose to do that. It wasn't like a play where, you're across the street, right here on 11th Harrison and the ball's all the way down on 10th. You're there at the point of attack, literally feet from it, and you're right there in the mix. And then, everybody say, well, you got to play through the rest. And you talk about that basketball and all this other stuff. Sure. But when it's like that at that point in time in a big, tight game like that, I wouldn't say you can't win, but you actually are stacking the deck against a team that, Nebraska wasn't, playing spectacular to keep it close. I think they got more validation to actually, these guys put on pants just like us and, they're a good-looking team. They also got some talented guys. We got talented guys. We're actually better than we thought. But then you're out there and you're seeing these calls, and it's, whether you call it fair or not, but it's just not realistic on how you play a big-time football game. Would you make that call if you were playing Michigan? Would you not make that call against Michigan? That's all I'd ask you. I'd replay it. Just keep replaying it. If this was Aiden Hutchinson or whoever's from Michigan, and that's in this call, would you make that call? Would you miss this call? Would this be more pass interference? I mean, there's multiple of them. I mean, let's
take the ball spotting. I mean, there's a million different things. But don't worry, they'll put out a tweet, Jay. They'll tweet and say they got it wrong, and nothing will change.
Well, they'll send it. Here's what happens in the league. Here's what happens because this is like what happens in the NFL, right? There's tons of calls, and the coaches turn them in. Excuse me. Sean Patton, I think, turns them in. They'll send them in. They'll say, you know what, you're 100% right. Send you a letter.
Nothing changes though.
Right.
It's zero accountability on the referees, and that's what's.
Because you know what? Come Saturday next week, they're doing another game.
Yeah. And they'll mess something up. And
or actually, you know what they'll do? To get their their bad play or the referee efficiency rating back up, they'll actually ref the game like they're supposed to. And here's the worst play. Here's the worst one. I think it was before the half. Emmett Johnson, right? It was before the half when he had it.
Right?
Right?
Yeah, right. Talking about the shorting the
yeah. So Nebraska's trying to get in and actually moving the ball. Listen, Nebraska's offense isn't built to kind of you're not going to big chunk Ohio State, right? But you're systematically running the ball or moving the ball. 3rd and 2 run. Emmett Johnson, Gus Johnson, he's 2 yards past the first down.
Yeah.
And the clock's supposed to stop anyways. So it was never an option or never a thought that it was a fumble. But you didn't stop. You magically didn't. You just let the clock run. This is your job. You're getting paid for this. And then somehow it's like, well, they thought it was a turnover. Well, if it's a turnover, you got to blow it dead anyways, right? If me and you were refs and I thought, hey, I think that was a fumble, it's just not a running clock while we're trying to figure out what will get our ducks in a row. And then you spotted it back behind the line of scrimmage or behind the first down marker.
I can't make any sense of that.
Right. So, I mean, I think that's where like now. See, I'd rather. That would be a rational discussion for Husker fans about the play of the game versus, oh, here we go with a freshman quarterback, 2 new receivers, excuse me, and we're on the road against the number 4 team, and here we go again. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you really realistically want to talk and see if there's a discrepancy in who gets the calls and not, that's actually for our fans, that's a rational discussion because it's factual versus, oh, here we go again. It's been the same way for 20 years. It's like, Harris, I don't know if you have a girlfriend. It's like you say you meet her on Monday and she's say you're young, but I'm almost 50. You meet somebody on Monday or whatever, and you know what? You're still paying for old buddy in high school. You know what I'm saying? You don't even know who the heck he is. You know what I'm saying? Like, say, oh, I dated this dude in Utah or whatever in California. Man, he was late. So you know what? He was a bad boyfriend. You're 5 minutes late. Here we go again. Here's an omen. You know what I mean? Oh, I had a boyfriend. He wore, blue pants with brown shoes. It didn't match. So you know what? It's like
we're reaching here. Yeah, point.
But we're reaching. But I'm just saying, it's like, it's part of that game that has to be addressed. But I will say before we go to break, it's commendable that they actually played through it. It seemed like they were inspired, and really, if you change your mindset, it almost can be laughable. I mean, I would be laughing at the rest.
I was surprised we didn't get a penalty for Matt Rule on the sideline this game.
Well, here's the deal.
I would have lost my damn mind.
Well, here's the best part. Ryan Day's on the field. First of all, I know when you're supposed to be on the field or not. Okay. He's well on the field, and he didn't like the call of the targeting. And now we're getting into technicalities. Oh, he threw his headset, but it didn't touch the ground. So now you're moving, I guess, what do you call it? Moving the goal line, moving the goalpost, or whatever. It's a conversation I had to have.
It needs to be had. I mean, because we can sit here and be like, Wolves and Nebraska. This is every damn week across the Big Ten.
Yeah. And
Nebraska gets the brunt of it. It seems like a lot, but there's just bad officiating every week.
Yeah, and I think I think here's my solution. And we'll in the second segment, I have my first performance 4. We'll see how that did, and we're going to look at. I think it's a better thing to look at team stats of this game to see where we actually really matched up. Here's my solution. I think you make referees employees.
Yes.
Right. And
whole time.
I think you make the referees and umps employees, and then I think you kind of make all the other ones, like, I guess, not full-time employees, but part-time, but you're still employees, because I think you need to make it a better, because I think the product would be better. I think the game would be better. I think if you actually made them employees and really put an emphasis into making the game better. So these type of stupid mistakes, we shouldn't be talking about this right now.
Well, there's enough money for it. There's no question about that. And it's such a critical part of the game.
Right.
Like, it makes zero sense to not have that tied up and have it close to perfection as possible. And then just have apology letters like, yeah, we got that one wrong.
Yeah.
On to the next game.
Yeah, it's it's just part of the deal. And obviously we'll dive into the stats here after this, in which we can talk about the game and where Nebraska can potentially move forward with UCLA coming in. It's a quick turnaround. I think the game's at 2:30. So you get a little bit more rest time, but then also it's not going to be too late, so you can get right back in the saddle. We're going to take a quick break. Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging. We'll be right back. This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Hi, this is State Senator Carolyn Bozin. As a state senator, wife, and mom, I believe Nebraska is a great place to work and raise a family. My husband Reggie and I are local family business owners and proud to be involved in our community. Property tax relief is important to every family. Last year, I voted for the largest property tax relief package in Nebraska history, and I will continue to advocate for property tax relief. Vote Carolyn Bozin on November 5th. Paid for by Bozin for Legislature.
You've seen them come and go. Franchise testosterone clinics that pop up and then whoosh, they're gone. These franchise clinics quickly find out it's not easy to compete with Limitless Male. Limitless is locally owned and operated with a flawless protocol that has elevated them to be the best in men's testosterone replacement and sexual performance. By adding GLP-1s, our patients are losing weight in a healthy way. To feel your optimal best, schedule a free consult at limitlessmale.com.
Fall is here, which means it's time to dive into a new lineup of autumn flavors at Wings and Rings. Your home away from home during football season. Their all-star lineup of wing sauces is adding 2 new impact players, curry garlic and pumpkin chili. Need something delicious before kickoff? How about starting your meal with their brand new chorizo nachos and loaded fries? You better act fast. These new tastes of autumn won't be here long. So make the trip to one of their 2 Lincoln locations today on O Street or Village Lane. Attention Nebraska sports fans. Are you ready to take your skills to the next level? The Army National Guard is looking for leaders who are dedicated, driven, and ready to make a difference. Join us and gain invaluable experience while serving your country with a flexible schedule, competitive benefits, and a chance to build a strong future. Learn more at nationalguard.com/Nebraska. Live here, serve here. The Nebraska Army National Guard, guard the good life.
Tailored Life is your headquarters for all things fall in Bennett. Make the short drive down Highway 2 for tons of items for your home, both indoors and outdoors. Check out their variety of potted trees, mums, and more, plus porch pots and landscape lighting to enhance the outside of your home. Don't forget their home goods for indoors, plus convenient drinks and snacks, most of which are produced locally. Visit Tailored Life today in Bennett and stay tuned to their Facebook page at Tailored Life 360 for food truck events coming up.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
Gary Michaels Clothier's 41st anniversary sale is happening now. Our entire new fall inventory of suits, sport coats, sweaters, slacks, outerwear, footwear, all now marked up to 41% off. Don't miss your opportunity to save big on brands like Marcello, Bugatti, Jack Victor, Heritage Gold, Alberto, and Zanella. It's the Gary Michaels 41st anniversary sale going on now through November 2nd. Gary Michaels Clothier's 56th and Pine Lake, right here in Lincoln.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier Kawasaki dealership. Score big on Kawasaki's most dependable side-by-side, the Mule Pro, built to take on your most demanding days. Rule the streets on an Indian motorcycle with customer cash and trade-in credits up to $2,000 during the month of October. On or off-road, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered with a large selection of motorcycles and side-by-sides in stock at their new 27th and I-80 location. Stop by every Saturday for their Husker tailgate with free food, drinks, and games. At Fairway Meat Market, your family. And as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now, through October 27th, enjoy USDA Choice Boneless Beef Crock Pot Roast for $5.99 per pound, whole bone-in pork butts for $1.88 per pound, 8-ounce stuffed pork chops, 3 for $10, and Fairway's famous and original beer brats for $3.88 per pound. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Back to Inside the Huddle, sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging. Here is your host, Jay Foreman.
We're back, second segment with Jay Foreman. Inside the Huddle brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging, 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. Diving into a little bit of the stats here, Harrison. What you can take from the game, what you want to do moving forward, and what you can kind of really reset the expectations. You're in the last third of the season, right? So, the first 8 games, you're 5-3. You got the last 4 all winnable. I wouldn't say easily winnable, but definitely a high percentage of winnability or being winnable. But it's going to be hard to do. Teams generally get better during the season. You got more tape on you, and you got more tape on them, so it's going to come down to execution. But when you look at Nebraska versus Ohio State yesterday, and Ohio State coming off a hard loss on Oregon with a bye week, definitely had a lot of pressure on them to pass the eye test. Obviously, a win is a win, and the rankings haven't came out. They're sitting pretty at number 4. But if you want to kind of climb up those charts, and yes, they have the Penn State game in their back pocket because obviously they win that game. They are pretty much signed, sealed, and delivered into the Big Ten championship, probably most likely playing Oregon. But when you look at the stats, first downs, Nebraska had 18, Ohio State had 11. Coming into the game, definitely you want to do that. And I think when I did my Foreman's 4 yesterday by Fast Mike's, brought to you by Fast Mike's Hauling, I said one of the biggest things you want to do is win first down. You don't almost double up Ohio State's first downs, 18-11, but not winning on first down on offense and defense. So I think that's a win. And then obviously third down was huge, and that's all predicated based off one of my Foreman's 4s yesterday is third down efficiency. Nebraska's 5-16. I think you take that on the road, right? And
that's a great defense,
right?
Too.
Right. Look, Pastor, they got NFL guys everywhere. And Ohio State essentially was 2 of 13 or 2 of 12 if you take third and fourth down. I mean, if you generally, I remember when we used to do our stats for you people out there that think a coach needs to go up there and know every per play and all that stuff, is that I think we wanted to be anywhere from like 35, 36% defensively, give or take. Ideally 33%, but generally when you play against good teams, it's going to be a little bit higher. That's a dominating performance. Total yards, Ohio State got Nebraska by 12.
Really on just 2 big throws.
2 big throws, and we'll dive into that as well. When you look at Nebraska systematically, you want to be, pretty efficient. You want to keep the chains, at or ahead of the chains. They had 4.6 yards, per pass play. Obviously, you'd like that to probably be 5.6. Ohio State, a little bit overblown stats at 13.8, which essentially is 14 yards. Each quarterback had an interception. And then you look at rushing. This is probably where Nebraska really was able to control the game. Nebraska averaged 3.7 yards a rush, which is pretty good. Going against that defensive front on the road, crowd noise, so forth and so on. And Ohio State with their 2, realistically, if it wasn't so much running back hate, you got 2 first-round running backs over there at Ohio State. Nebraska shut them down.
Yeah, they got a little bit of life, I want to say, in that third quarter, but yeah, that's about it.
And
they couldn't do anything all day.
That should be expected. I mean, these guys are next level, so you got to be expected. Here's where I think the things change, right? Nebraska won time of possession by 11 11 minutes. Turnovers were the same, right? 1-1. Here's what's funny. Ohio State only had 3 penalties for 36 yards. 3. Now, I talked about 3 different situations, multiple situations, right? So they were at the point of attack and egregious, quote unquote, missed calls, and Nebraska has 7 penalties for 62 yards. Now, one of them was when you take the 5 yards so you could punt and all that. So just say 6 for 57.
And I could argue with a lot of those. The offensive pass interference.
Oh yeah,
I think on Banks and AR, I can't remember. On just
a
very touchy.
It wasn't extension. And here's what I'll say is like, okay, if you just come into the game and say, you know what, we're gonna make you earn it, we're gonna let you battle it, but then all of a sudden you're gonna have offensive pass interference when he was just fighting to get the ball when he was being held 15 yards down the field.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're seeing what they want to see. So I mean, that's where the game was won or lost, and obviously it was unfortunate with the the interception at the game, and that's a learning experience when you have a freshman 19-year-old quarterback. So if Nebraska could dial up, I can tell you this for people say, here we go again. Say if Nebraska said, hey, we're going into whoever the number 14 would be, it could be Georgia, Alabama. We go there and you just throw out those stats. You say, okay, Nebraska's gonna win that game. Game was changed by those penalties and lack of call of penalties.
Well, how many balls did we see where at first it's like, oh, you overthrew that one, and then you go back and see it, and like he got held up.
Yeah,
like the one you're talking about with Isaiah Naor, his pads are showing.
Right,
ball wasn't overthrown.
And the one for Banks, and the one for Banks, and the ones every, and that's what you get with Ohio State. They're a heavy man team. They did play a little bit more zone. I think that's where you saw Vadoni was getting off, and you got to give it to Satterfield and Dillon. They were patient. And then when they pick their choices or pick their spots, they were able to, make some hay with it. But I just feel like Nebraska, when they started to get in rhythm and had Ohio State reeling, Ohio State was bailed out by just timely missed calls, lack of calls, and calls against Nebraska. And that's what happens, I guess. And you got to kind of win your way, back into that level, maybe. And if that's the way the Big Ten wants it, that's fine. I mean, then Nebraska, then you got to double back and look, okay, we can't let games like Illinois slip away. We got to put on a better performance against Indiana. So then, therefore, when we get in these situations again, and in particular when we're at home, we're going to expect the same treatment, no matter who the crew is or where they're from, or you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so if that's the case, then, obviously if it's the unknown and they are not going to put it out there on voice, and then so you just got to deal with it. It's unfortunate that you have to in this day and age, but ultimately how that game played out, you can't say there's no excuse to minimize the performance that Nebraska had, which still has things they want to clean up, and I'm sure Coach Rule said it. But also you can't sit there and say, well, Ohio State was just looking past Nebraska to Penn State. That's what the next thing is going to be. The people that are waiting for Nebraska to fall on their face again. Oh, they were looking towards Penn State. You know what I'm saying? They're looking for they were hiding things. So when they go on the road to play against a staff that they've been playing against for the last 8-9 years, Ryan Day has been here, that they can unveil a whole new playbook. Nebraska just beat them up pretty good, and Ohio State didn't play well. Neither did Nebraska. The refs didn't ref well.
At least the world saw it, though. I noticed that much.
Yeah, well,
everybody, it was egregious to the point like the rest of the college football world was like, what the hell is going on in this game?
Yeah, and I think
if you listen to the radio call, they were talking about the spots nonstop. If you're listening to the TV commentary, Gus Johnson, Joe Klatt were calling it out. I mean, it was egregious to the point where
they actually probably. I've been in those because I used to do a little TV. I think that you got a little message in your ear. He's like, all right, we got to tone it down, because they knew what was going on. And that's what happened in sports. You talk about it. I mean, whether it's Jordan with him, with Jordan when he played, you get calls and superstar players get, superstar calls. I wouldn't call Ohio State a superstar team right now.
They didn't look it.
Right. They haven't looked it.
No.
So now they are number 4. It is better for the Big Ten right now to have 2 blue bloods, or they got 3 in the mix now: Penn State, Ohio State, Oregon. And then it's always good for them to have Michigan win. But ultimately, that played into it. And so, we got some of the text here. He says, old dad 34 says, Jay, in your opinion, should Rule have the tape looked at for the refs? He'll send it in.
Yeah.
They're going to look at it.
They'll write an apology and nothing changes. That's the problem with the whole system right now.
Yeah. And look, you even saw it on the NFL with the Rams and the Vikings.
Yeah.
The quarterback, the face mask, and the guy sitting there looking like, I didn't see it. Yeah, you did. You just didn't call it. The OG CJ says, a huge positive is that we kick field goals now. That's good. And you know what? Now you got to continue to do it, right? Now you're showing you do it once. Now you can do it every time. And Coach Rule said they're going to, in the bye week, they're going to get better at the snap, hold, kick, and they have confidence in John Hole, and he's been making them in practice. Well, that's actually true, because you're not in. And so as much as you beat up Ed Foley and all this other stuff that they had, you got to give them credit that they actually went and put tangible effort to make it better.
He was 1 for 5 walking into that game.
Yeah.
And to do that on the road, and he matched the record for a road game anyways, for 54 yards.
Yeah. Well, I would say this. You could be 1 touchdown to 5 interceptions, but all 5 of those interceptions aren't created equal.
Yeah.
Right? If you got a bad snap, mishold, and you missed 4, and 2 of them were blocked, whatever it was, is that really on the kicker? Right? Or the ones that you're missing? But look, it takes some cojones to go back to work and with the pressure by a week. Not getting a chance last week at Indiana, we could have probably kicked. And then there you go in the horseshoe when we really need you, right? And then you drop that bomb on 54. So, look, he's been, obviously he's been working at it. Coach Foley and staff has been working at it. The whole staff has, been working at it. And so you got to give them credit that they, probably, I would say, won special teams yesterday. That's Nebraska pretty much won all 3 phases, just didn't win the ref phases. I think you need to have 4 phases. They're the refs bad, and then the 3 major core. And that needs to be the grading system. Matter of fact, I do the Foreman's 4. Put it out. I'm going to start putting it out every Friday. I'm going to start doing the Foreman's report card. All 3 phases. So we're looking for sponsors for Jay Foreman's report card. All 3 phases. Of course, we'll do coaching. And then we're going to have we have to make something fun up.
The
about
officiating report.
Yeah, the asterisks. Right?
F.
Right. And did it affect the game? How about that? Eric and Lincoln says, how do you spot the ball that bad on multiple occasions? We have technology in tennis to show where the ball went. I have no idea.
You got eyeballs.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need
technology.
You don't need technology. And the thing is where you can't, somebody would say, well, the line that you see on TV isn't realistic. Yes, it is. That actually line is probably more accurate than the chains on the sideline.
Even if you're not using that line, like take the line they put out of the window.
You don't.
He's still spotted at the
4 yards behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you doing up here? Come back here. Hey,
when I saw him walking out where he was, I couldn't.
Yeah. What are you doing over here? Yeah. And then the best part about it, the defense was over there because everybody knew where the ball was at. And, they just go about it like it's no big deal. So anyways, we got one more text here. 8729. Appreciate you guys getting up early and, obviously, being involved. And he says he rewatched the game. Can a coach please explain to me why I'm missing or what I'm missing with these Satterfield screen passes? We've heard the last few weeks that perimeter blocking is an issue, has been all year, and we see it still being an issue. What is Satterfield trying to accomplish by continuing to try these passes that go for losses over and over and over and over? There has to be a logical reason that the common fan, just isn't understanding.
Because they're bringing the house?
Well,
a lot of times
ideally, in theory, right? And this is where it's hard. Well, this is also where it's hard when the refs don't have control of the game. So I'll explain this, and then we'll also go a short segment here. So I'll just give it a basketball analogy, right? So it's hard. Like I always say when I coach, I don't really yell at the refs about, oh, that's a ticky tack. I just want look. I will lose my if you don't have control of the game, because then therefore it's a health risk for both players, both teams, because I could unleash my dogs just as easily. But then the pace of the game and how the game is going to be played, especially down the stretch, will be affected by it. And how does this affect football? So if you're allowing a team to, and this is what also I encourage the texters to go back and look. I can guarantee you sometimes when they were playing man-to-man mugging, I guarantee they were on defensive offsides. So if you don't have control of the game, you're allowing one team to kind of be rogue and do what they want to do. And so these plays are set up, screen plays are set up for man-to-man mug defense. You know, say you want to run it to the outside receiver, you have the inside receiver block him, and then you're kind of run the jailbreak. Well, if this person is allowed to line up where you're even in the neutral zone as a corner position, you can't block them. Now, running so many, you're running it based on the tendencies and stuff like that. So I guess you could say probably when it wasn't working, like, all right, today's not our day. I'd probably say they blocked a little bit better on the perimeter this week, and there was more of an emphasis. And Ohio State made an emphasis on their part not to get beat up like they did against Oregon. So you got the better version of what you saw on tape.
Yeah, because Oregon's whole screen game, I mean, that's their bread and butter.
And it was
Oregon.
effective.
And it was.
And they bullied Ohio State. And Denzel Burke heard it, and he was not getting bullied yesterday. So it's a little bit of circumstantial. I will have to go back and watch how many times they ran it. It obviously wasn't there. You tried to run some screens and stuff like that. So you're trying to keep them off balance, And I will tell you this is that Coach Osmore sometimes ran some plays that I'm pretty sure he knew would be tough to get any decent yardage to set up something later on. Now, I don't know. I'm not in the meetings or anything like that. So the theory behind it, again, to long story short, is it's a man beater. It's good. And if it's executed right, you can get explosive and pop one. I guess I guess for me, you're thinking like, okay, this could be the one. This is the situation. Plus, Ohio State was doing a really good job of showing man playing zone. So you're kind of, in a guessing game. So nevertheless, they had a chance to win. And so take that out of it. You can go back and maybe, dial that back. If you called 6, we can do 3 and run them out of different formation. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Everybody, look, man, I'm sure Ryan Day or whoever the offense or Chip Kelly is getting the same conversation. Why you keep running the ball when you got 2 yards to carry? We need to be trying to go deep. So anyways, I mean, it's not perfect. Obviously, you got to get, better efficiently offensively, but it's very hard to really judge it when you have when you're going into a fight with one hand tied behind your back and you're not doing the tying yourself. So we'll take a quick break, come back, put a bow on this bad boy. Look forward to UCLA. Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging. We'll be right back. This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Ryan, with all this red and all these people around, I'm still not seeing the tailgate.
Todd Spidell, former body shop owner, terrible driver.
We're getting close. Now, did you know with 3 locations in Lincoln and hundreds of years of combined technician experience, we can get Husker fans back on the road even quicker and safer after their tailgate mishaps? Oh, Todd, turn left right here.
Left or right?
Left, right here.
Right?
Well, you wait for the tow truck. I'm getting a hot dog.
Well, I guess while I'm waiting. All right! Most recommended! Eustace Body Shop!
Woohoo! Dude, you should be on American Idol.
You really think so?
No.
Accidents happen, even to Husker fans. If it happens to you, call Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com. NEBCO is hiring CDL drivers for ready mixed concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. NEBCO offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From NEBCO's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Gary Michaels Clothier's 41st anniversary sale is happening now. Our entire new fall inventory of suits, sport coats, sweaters, slacks, outerwear, footwear, all now marked up to 41% off. Don't miss your opportunity to save big on brands like Marcello, Bugatti, Jack Victor, Heritage Gold, Alberto, and Zanella. It's the Gary Michaels 41st anniversary sale going on now through November 2nd. Gary Michaels Clothier's 56th and Pine Lane, right here in Lincoln.
Hog Wild's giant stuffed baked potatoes are anything but basic and really hit the spot when you're craving a little comfort food. Nothing is more satisfying than a Hog Wild baked potato loaded with butter, sour cream, cheddar cheese, bacon bits, and chives. Add your choice of a Hog Wild house smoked meat like pulled pork, chicken, or brisket for a little extra. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
At Anderson Ford, we offer a 5-day return or exchange policy so you can make sure the vehicle you choose is the best vehicle for you. No pressure. Right now, take over $11,000 off a 2024 Ford F-150. Experience better at Anderson Ford. Stock number 1004296, MSRP of $66,645. Must finance with Ford Motor Company and have a qualifying trade and approved credit. Tax, title, and license fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Program subject to change. Must take new retail delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 11/13/24. See delivery details.
Load up on meat and more this fall at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's special through October 29th is $1 off per pound on New York strips. Spend $50 and get a free brick of ground beef and 25% off on tea. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Highway 2 in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
You never think cancer will happen to you. I smoked for over 40 years. My doctor recommended that I get annual lung cancer screening. They were able to catch my cancer at stage 1. It's never too late to quit. Even if you're still smoking, you need to ask your doctor about annual lung cancer screening. Just 30 minutes a year could save your life.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
You're listening to Inside the Huddle with Jay Foreman, sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging.
We're back. Last segment, real quick. Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging. Obviously, it's one of those things. It's the less than 24-hour rule. You just turn the page, but then also you recognize now you've shown that you're able to recognize. And one of the first thing I said in Informers 4 is you got to forgive yourself, and part of doing that is recognizing it, addressing it, and making moves to make it better, right? And that means practicing with the right intent and all that. And then you forgive yourself, but but you never forget. So you never forget what it felt like just a week ago when you felt you were embarrassed, mad, and all this other stuff. It's a little bit of that this week, but and that's mainly based on an outside party, which is the lack of consistent referees. Now you can't live and die on that, but you have to recognize it, and then also let that motivate you to play beyond the rest. Don't let the rest. Don't even make it a close game. And so with UCLA coming in here after a bye week, they're a better team than they certainly showed in the first couple of weeks. It's going to be a tough match.
That's where everybody's at this point in the season, though.
Yeah, well,
everybody, like you said, there's enough tape on everybody now.
Well, here's the thing:
Can't walk in any of these games.
I think everybody it goes both ways. We saw USC beat LSU. USC's back.
Mm-hmm.
LSU's garbage. Now LSU got it going. Obviously lost last night to Texas A&M. And then, look, I guess you can even talk to okay, we beat the brakes off of Colorado, beat them up pretty physically. All their offensive line is horrible. Well, obviously they've gotten a lot better. They're running the ball. They are one of the better teams in the Big 12, whether you like it or not.
Mm-hmm.
They are a good football team. And so everybody's going to get better. We saw UCLA, and, you saw they might win one game. Right. Well, we're in for a battle. That's fine. Nebraska's definitely.
That one's at home, right? UCLA's got to head to Lincoln.
Yep.
Oh,
so
cool.
Next week, 2:30. So Nebraska, will handle that business there and become bowl eligible. But there's other teams, that have gotten better throughout the year, and games will get harder because both teams on both sides have more tape tendencies, and so now it's just going to come down to execution, situational football, which actually generally people think that situational football is obviously how you start. In and out of halftime and finish, actually is probably double now. Now it's like two or three situational football situations during the game that leads to 8. But again, quick show here on Sunday. Appreciate you guys being up early. Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging, 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. All your imaging needs, and also get early screening and testing for breast cancer. Jay Foreman, I'll holler at you next week. This is